Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Bagman Podcast. This is episode 4, I believe. Four. And I'm going to have to change that on the YouTube.
What do you have
here in a second? I think I have last broadcast up still. But we're live. And I'll change that here in a second because the cool thing about YouTube is you can edit live. Welcome back. We want to do the rewind section first. So, Stock, how was your week last week up through this weekend?
Last week was fairly good, I would say. It was the end of the grading period, so a lot of grading, a lot of kids saying, oh, can I please don't make that up? Can I please don't make that up? Maybe that'll be my rant.
I can understand why it would be.
You already had one set. You can't change it.
No, you guys
No.
that one.
Oh, my goodness.
But, I got all my grading done. This was our block party today. Tomorrow we have virtual learning. Tomorrow and Wednesday we have virtual learning, and then fall break. And I think everyone pretty much enjoyed the block party.
Oh, the block party was a huge success, I think.
Food was good.
The food was amazing.
Weather. Oh, the weather.
Oh, my goodness.
It was so nice.
Yes.
Too much fresh air for me. But
Fantastic. Too much fresh air.
I need artificial
There's no
air
such thing.
out of a ventilator.
Okay.
You just want to live in one giant iron lung.
Please.
Is what it is.
I thought maybe you were just implying that you needed to take a nap.
Well,
And
I could do that too.
I am kind of tired now that you talk about it.
Too much
all the
stuff.
carbohydrates.
So we've got these cool lower thirds. I want to play those again while we're introducing. Let's see, what did last week? We had competition for esports on Wednesday. We played Fortnite. Did pretty well. We're getting better, but now we have a 2-week break. So hopefully our skills don't atrophy. And all the sports stuff happened. We've got football next Friday.
Yep.
We've got volleyball coming up this next week. So a couple teams still going. Unfavorable outcomes to a lot of the stuff that we had. Miles and Jackson still play. They play on Saturday
This Saturday.
at Fishers, I believe. So that was cool. But a lot of our other teams their season came to an end. So soccer, boys and girls came to an end.
They put up good fights.
They did. And I heard it was a great game until halftime. It was 1-0 at halftime or something like that for the boys game. So that's really cool.
So can I
kind of turn it on?
throw one thing out? I would like to compliment Sydney Crane,
Here we
who
go.
went to regionals for girls golf, and which I don't think our either of our golf teams really get a lot of
Recognition.
Good word. And so she made it to regional. That is pretty phenomenal.
That's huge.
And because golf is not a class sport, of course, she's going up against schools that are much larger than we are.
Yeah.
And as she explained to me, a lot of those girls, that's all they do. They just play golf.
Yeah, it's a year-round sport.
Yeah. And so, I guess I know there's team volleyball or sport. What is that?
Club sports.
That kind of stuff, volleyball and those types of things. But apparently there's the same for golf.
Mm-hmm.
And so she, of course, is going up against ladies that play golf all year long. And I believe she played against Carmel and some very large.
Oh, yeah. In open class, you're going to play these huge schools. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
She got seventh.
Good for her.
How neat is that?
Yeah, and it was
amazing.
I don't remember how many she told me. I think it was over 100 girls, and she got seventh. And I want to say it was like top 4, top 5, and like the top 3 went on, but then maybe 4 and 5 were alternates in case something happened.
Yeah, that's insane.
And so, but still, and I wish that she would have gotten a lot more acclaim than she did, because I don't know the last time that we had anybody make it that far.
I had no idea. That she
I
went.
know. And so,
that's Stockberger.
so anyway, definite shout out to Sydney, because I can't hit a golf ball, let alone.
Congratulations, Sydney.
Yes, so phenomenal
huge.
job.
And the cool thing about golf, in particular, is that's a lifelong sport, right?
Yes.
You can grab a club or a set of clubs and head out whenever you want. We've also got kids that play college for golf, so that's a possibility as well to further your journey.
I'm going to give a shout out here, Craig.
Oh, Stock's going to give a shout out. Is it to me?
No.
Oh.
But you love her.
Oh.
Susan Wilson.
Susan Wilson. I do love Susan Wilson. She's one of my favorite people in the world.
Former Covington PE teacher and avid senior citizen golfer.
Oh.
That's right. And tennis player.
And tennis.
Yeah, she's an active lady. Mrs. Wilson, my gym teacher in high school.
Did you ever know her?
I don't know her.
Okay.
I don't.
Did you know her? And this is our guest today, Mrs. Smaltz. She had a cool little lower third Your lower third said,
So excited.
yeah, it's pretty neat. I don't, you might be less excited once you hear what it says. It says crazy. It says crazy sponsor with an IE, not a Y.
That's right.
So, and we'll talk about that later on in the broadcast. She does a lot of cool things with our kids at extracurricular activities. So we'll talk more about that. We'll talk about potential mascot, that kind of cool stuff. So we will get there. Anything else you want to mention, Stock or Mrs. Smaltz, before we dive into the kids in school topic?
Yes.
Okay, let's get it.
I was doing my sock, pants, shoe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get ready for that.
I put my pants on. I don't know why I did this on Saturday. I put my pants on with the left leg first, and I usually do right leg. That is the weirdest feeling.
We're in your
ever.
head.
Weirdest feeling.
We're in your head now, Stock. You're overthinking it.
I know every single time I'm like, what am I doing?
I would think that qualifies. I assume you're right-handed, correct?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So have you ever tried to brush your teeth with your left hand?
I have. And that's weird too.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
Well,
and
show the
everyone-
people why you can't right now, Stock.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Stock's on the injured reserve. Mom, we assume you're going to be texting soon.
yes. That was exciting. I got to hear about that at lunch.
Yes.
So go ahead, text away.
Yes. And I kind of feel left out, but that's cool too.
Well, no, she mentioned you.
Oh, good. I'm famous.
After our first broadcast,
Yes.
she said, should I tell you this?
I don't know. Is that on air worthy?
She said, who's the Sasquatch?
Yes. Hey, that's me.
We do have our own personal Sasquatch at Covington.
Yes. Welcome. I love that so much. I think I've met your mom in person one time, and
Maybe.
it was at the craft bazaar.
Okay, yeah.
And it would have been several years ago
Yeah.
now, but great interaction. But now I know she calls me a woodland animal, but we might have different words next time. All right. Well, that's cool. That's cool that we got a real life shout out from Mom. So you were part of the Sowers family, and I get shout outs from the Stockberger side. So
Yeah,
this is
there we
cool.
go.
Yeah, this is great. Mrs. Smaltz, how was your week last week? Anything you wanted to highlight, talk about?
There was nothing that stands out, forefront of my mind. It was a quick week.
Yeah.
It seemed like we got homecoming over with and jumped back into things on Monday, and we were off with,
and here we are at
full-fledged
fall
on-
break anyway.
Yeah. And so, of course, we had to get ready for virtual learning. So that might have had something to do with it, just because I knew that I had to take time. Well, I had to get grades ready, of course, and I had to
into
take
the 9 weeks.
Yep. And I had to take time out of class and get things ready for virtual learning. And so that kind of changed up the week, just because we had to prepare, and I felt like I had to make sure that the kids knew what was going to happen before we got to it. So
Yeah, it just feels different.
it does.
It's a different atmosphere.
It is.
Yeah.
I agree. So
And we had a beautiful day today for the block party.
Yeah.
Got to go down to the park, walk down with the kids.
I took a couple pictures of
great food.
trees on the way.
And Stock took pictures of trees. He talked about trees last week.
Did I?
We're back on it. Yes. He talked about the leaves changing to Mr. Anderson
Oh, yeah.
because he spends time in southern Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So did you by chance get to see the game that Mr. Myers and Mrs. Myers had?
cool. Yes, I've made my own set before.
That is the coolest thing ever. Like, I think I'm going
that's
to have
gorgeous.
to buy it. I saw your pictures. Those were
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
pretty.
You
We're on
try to show it
Facebook,
on camera?
everyone.
Here, I'll try to show it on camera. It's well, maybe.
Can you zoom in?
No.
Good. This one's my favorite.
I'm sure the people are all watching this on an 80-inch TV.
Just hold it up there.
Oh, wow. Now I feel... Here, I'll put it on my camera. How's that?
Yeah.
Because people don't need to see Sasquatch. There we go.
Well, it's appropriate. It's trees. So we should assume there'll be a Sasquatch with the
Hey,
trees.
I'd be hiding behind it. We should have done that as a little treat for the
There
people.
you go.
The one thing I did want to mention, other than the really cool day we had for the block party, great food. The food was fantastic.
Yep.
Big shout out to the cafeteria workers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They did a great job. Mrs. Carfault, Mr. Brown, Mr. Taylor were down there
Yep.
getting the food ready. It was an awesome experience. The kids really enjoyed it.
Yep.
A
where did the
lot
food
more
come
investment than I thought we would get.
I
Something like
agree.
that.
Where'd the food come from?
The food came from Prime Cut 41. The meat
right.
did anyway.
Yes.
And big shout out to the Elmores. They see me every week, at least once a week, and especially since they started selling the milk.
Yeah. I need to go try.
The Oreo department at Sam's Club is now depleted, and it goes really good with the Prime Cut 41 milk.
Anyone, if you haven't
I'm
been
guessing.
to Prime Cut 41, you need to go.
And that was the hat you were wearing a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So buy local is what Stock said.
Yep.
And not sponsored, hashtag not sponsored.
That's true.
But
They're welcome to.
great people, a great business,
Yeah.
and no reason not to support them.
Yeah.
So
Well, I have to ask, have you
yes.
had the jalapeno cheddar brats?
that is one of my go-tos.
Oh my goodness.
So I will tell you, the Philly cheesesteak ranks up there with the jalapeno cheddar. It's phenomenal.
Oh,
But
look into it now. I will
but
say,
looking at me, you can tell that I'm not really picky on my brat.
well, I now I
anything
will
else.
say they have one called a Michigan cherry,
Yes.
and the texture of it,
Yeah.
like the actual brat, is just a little different.
It is.
And so that one, not my favorite. Oh boy, I tell you what, you cannot go wrong with those cheddar
Oh, yeah,
jalapeno.
jalapeno cheddars. They make the burgers as well.
I've not
So the
had that.
brisket burgers with those.
I'll have to get into
Oh
that.
my goodness.
Yummy.
Yes. And actually there are quite a few members of our family that the cherry is their favorite.
Really?
So it's kind of,
Good.
yeah, it's a personal preference kind of
Good.
thing. And I agree with you on the jalapeno cheddar though. That is kind of the way to go.
Those are delightful.
If you do get a chance to go check them out, they're right across from Susie Q's out by 41 and you're not going to regret it. It's a great experience,
Yeah.
great atmosphere, great people, great food. So you can't really go wrong. The one other thing I did want to mention, this is more stock for you. I did order merch for us. So we've got a trial run of keychains coming in
Oh, awesome.
that people can attach to their bags for bagmen, at least until we get bags printed. So I ordered a very limited run. We've got 10 the first time. So I don't know how you want to dole those out. If you want to dole those out to commenters or guests or whatever.
I think yes.
Yeah, I
could
think so
get one.
too. I think that's a great idea.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So those are coming in Thursday.
Although I do kind of think you need to have a Sasquatch on it.
Oh man. Well, that's probably trademarked with that the soap company,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
right? The Squatch or whatever.
fine.
I'm
If
gonna
you're
file-
get
Have you ever
technical.
tried their soap?
No, I actually use.
great. It really is great.
What is
Really?
it called? I'll get back to you on that, but I do use a different, more natural kind. Yes.
I've tried their rum soap or Caribbean rum, something like that. Amazing.
Is this marketed towards men?
Duke
It
Cannon.
is.
Duke Cannon is what I
If
use.
I have
Yeah.
not seen it. So
It's the same thing.
It has great commercials. You can find them on YouTube.
I'm guessing my algorithm has not sent me down that road. So
I'm just gonna have Ty whisper to your phone,
yes,
and it'll start guiding you
That's
that
right.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's cool. We got merch coming.
That is
So
so cool.
be on the look for that. We'll
That's
show that off on the next one. Potentially a special episode this week as well.
Potentially.
Maybe. We're not going to say anything about that because we don't know if it's going to happen.
Are you available Friday?
I mean, I can make myself available.
Okay,
Well,
because-
I'll be here. I'll be around for the senior night boys football game
that's
anyway.
right, yeah.
Kids Country 103.1 game of the week. It'll be Riverton Park at Covington for senior night. So if you can't make it out to the game, go to Facebook, their Facebook site, and you can hear Greg. And I believe Randy White's going to be with him this next
Oh,
week.
is he?
Yeah,
Great.
he did last week's game at North Vermillion. And it's a great listen, and you get to watch the game as well, provided by Radio TV class here at Covington.
His daughter, Abby, should be finding out if she's having a boy or girl soon.
Oh my goodness, look at this. You're just a wealth of information, Stock.
Just about the whites.
Oh my, it's very specific.
Yes.
But he is a wealth of information about one family. Yeah, that's great.
Don't put him on jeopardy.
Exactly.
Because he's
Yeah,
out of luck,
yeah. We don't want that. So the first big topic I wanted to talk with Mrs. Smaltz about, she is in a unique location to know about this. So her and her husband both teach here at Covington High School
Oh, yes.
and have for quite a few years now.
I think this is my 11th year, and I think it's his 8th year.
Do you consider yourself a new teacher?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No.
When was that breaking point?
When there were a lot more people out in the hallway that I didn't know.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
opposed to the ones that I do. I mean,
That's
really,
fair.
if you think about it, I mean, the veteran teachers that are here, there's been quite a bit of turnover within
Yeah.
the last several
Oh, sure.
years. And so I remember my very first year here, there were a lot of, I guess, I don't want to say, what do I want to say? Yes, experience, vintage. I didn't want to say old.
Antique.
But there were teachers that had been here for a while.
Sure.
But
Veteran's a good word.
Yeah, but there's been some turnover, and so there's been several, Spanish teachers that have come and gone, and science teachers, and so yeah, it's weird to be considered a veteran teacher, and
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've been here that long, but yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of,
You were an aide in the elementary for a while, weren't you?
Just a year.
Just a year.
I was, I taught at Benton Central for 4 years. Back when you could buy gas for 88 cents a gallon and you could drive.
so is this pre-windmill days?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Okay. Pre-windmill. It's been a minute.
I graduated in 99 from
Okay.
ISU, and that was in May, and I got an offer for Benton Central maybe first week of June. And so we had just bought a house in Hillsboro, and I was driving from Hillsboro to basically Fowler every day.
That is a
and
haul.
it was, I had to leave the house at 6:30.
Oh my goodness.
And so it was, yeah, there were days that I could get to Benton Central and think, did I stop at the stop sign in Pine Village?
Oh.
Because I don't remember if I did
Those
or
are
not.
scary drives.
Yes.
Those
yeah.
are scary drives.
And so I was there for 4 years, and then had Sarah, and then went ahead and just stayed out and had the other two. And
Yeah.
I was, I say 9 years I was out of teaching. And so by the time I got back in, I decided I needed something as a nice, kind of
little transition
yes.
back into teaching.
So
Yeah.
I went and took, I was actually an aide with Mrs. Kirkpatrick. She was an aide at that
Oh,
point
okay.
at the elementary.
Gotta love
and-
Mrs. Kirkpatrick.
Yeah. And so we were there, and then they had a high school position here, and I think it was Mr. Welchins contacted me and said, "Hey, would you want to put your name in?" And I was like, okay. let's
All
do
right.
it. So,
I think my transition's over.
yeah. So it was a quick transition.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Sarah. So
Yes.
she's in college now
She is.
at Indiana State. And you have Ty.
Yes. Is he going to be helping with the game on Friday?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it.
You should make
That'll
him do
be
that.
during the virtual class.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I figured it's a home game, so I'll have plenty of kids to
Yes,
choose from.
That's probably true.
And you've got a younger one.
I do.
That's
I have
heading
Hope.
this way.
Yes. Hope is a freshman, and
Yeah.
she is my outlier. She's much different than the other two. So she's into cheer, and she's into dance, and academics, not really. I mean, she does them because her
the back
parents,
burner.
her parents force her. Where the other two very studious, and that's their thing. But yeah, school is more of a social thing for
Can I
Hope.
tell a Hope story?
Oh, as long as it doesn't get me in trouble, sure.
It just happened today.
Oh, here we go.
I gave them the pop quiz to finish our lesson before the virtual learning tomorrow. Front and back, it took them like 6 minutes. It was easy. Just some basic drinks in French and how to say I'm thirsty and stuff like that. So the first part of the quiz is always a listening section. And I tell them part A, listening, read the instructions, and then I start speaking. Number 1 is this, number 2 is that. I get to the end and I ask, does anyone need me to repeat anything? She raises her hand. Could you repeat 1 through 4? I was on the wrong side.
Well, I'm glad she at least spoke up.
Yes.
Because we've had issues in the past where she was like, I'm not saying anything. So at least she said something to you. So that says kudos to you, because she felt comfortable enough to say something.
Okay.
So
Yes.
yeah, it happens to the best of us. What can I say?
So there's
Yep.
3 kids that have been through Covington schools.
Yep.
Or are currently in
yes.
Covington schools.
We have completely Smaltzified the place.
Yeah,
What can I
I'd say
say?
between the Smaltz and Sowers family, we've
Yeah,
kind of taken over.
that's right.
And Mr. Smaltz is a teacher as well. He's a math teacher here in the
Yes.
high school. So what are some of the positives and some of the drawbacks to having your kids in school and even possibly being their teacher?
Okay. Well, believe it or not, I've not had them in class yet. Since
Is that fortunate for them or for you?
Oh, I'm sure if you ask them, it's fortunate for them. Yeah. In fact, I'll have Hope next year because I do
boy.
have regulars and academics of sophomores next year.
Oh, my.
And she has already voiced her, lack of
Yes.
excitement.
You've already said
Yeah.
you've already said she's not the academic
Yeah.
one.
And
So
she's like, really, Mom?
Yep.
So, but I told her, I was like, it doesn't matter, because if I homeschooled you, you'd still be with me. So what's the difference?
Fair.
So, that's not been an issue yet. As far as the positives, and you can verify this with Ty in class,
I will.
we have said to them repeatedly, if you do anything we will find out.
Oh, that's true.
So
Yeah.
as far as, if you're up to no good, whatever, someone will tell me. And if it's not an adult, it's a kid, because
Yep.
we have had students that have been like, this is Smaltz. You're not going to believe what Ty did today. So that's how I find out about a lot of
Yeah, I can't get away with
Ty's
anything.
shenanigans or his jokes. I use, yeah. So, on the plus side, if I'm always there, if they need something, so they can come to me if they need Tylenol, if they need Band-Aid, those kinds of things. If something happens that they need addressed quickly, I can take care of it. If they need a check because they forgot, they need to have their money for, whatever club, and
Surely that doesn't happen. No,
Yeah,
no, that
yeah.
doesn't happen.
Yeah. So those types of things are good. I would say the frustrating thing is there can be a lot of people make assumptions.
Yeah, sure.
So, when your son is ranked 6th in the class, a lot of people, he's had people say, well, the only reason you do so good is because your parents do your homework for you. No, because Ty's homework is too hard for me to do at this point. I can't do his homework.
Yeah, and I just from personal experience, Ty is in the computer science class, and there's not a lot of people in the community that can do that homework.
No.
So I know that's not true. Yeah.
In fact, he was asking me about, oh goodness, I can't even think, some kind of a string.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I asked Dad. He says he can't help me. In fact, I think Corey laughed at him, and he was like, "Do you remember me telling you about this, Mom?" Like, yes, I do. Why? And he was like, "Do you think you could help me?" I went, "The only thing I know about it is what you told me, honey. So I'm pretty sure I can't help you." So, Anyway.
Yeah, and he did very well on our practice quiz on Friday. Just so you know. Yes.
Good.
So. Yeah, I imagine it's kind of comforting for them as students to know that they've got somebody to fall back on. And I'd hope most of our students feel that way, that they have somebody they can go to. I don't know that that's always the case. Sometimes kids just feel alone, even though we're here.
That has been one of my, Corey and I both, our biggest goals in probably the past 2 years, is to try to make sure that our students know that if they're not here, they're missed. That their presence matters, that they as a person matter. I don't know if you heard I had posted this on my TikTok last year.
Oh, you showed me.
About the
I love you one?
Yes.
Yes.
So I tell my students at the end of class almost every day that I love them, because I do, because I don't want anything to happen to them.
Absolutely.
I know that I get to spend as much time, if not more, than a lot of them get to spend with their parents, and I don't take that for granted. And so it has been a goal of ours that our students know that they have worth. And it's not, they're just not, just a student and someone who's doing work for us. And so.
Yeah, you're not just a student, you're a member of the community, you're a member of our family here at CHS,
Yep.
Exactly.
So yeah, absolutely. That's a good point, and it's kind of a huge thing to keep in mind, that you're more than just a number. Then there's always somebody to go to. You can go to Mrs. Smaltz, you can go to Mr. Stockberger. I'm always here. We're here after school a lot. We're here on weekends. We do care. It might not seem that way because of my
from Fountain Central, and we hated Covington mainly because of the CrAzIeS, because of the school spirit. We had never seen anything like that. And I didn't realize until coming into the corporation and living here, Covington is like the perfect setup, because the school is the town and the town is the school. And so you don't have the consolidation of 6 or 7 little towns that go into your school. And so you can't celebrate like homecoming and those types of things the same way you can at Covington, where it's just the one town. And so I feel like we need to take advantage of that and So anyway, we're going to make banners. Hopefully we're going to be able to get the helmets that the kids are going to be able to. I don't know if I'm going to just have the seniors get the helmets this year,
Okay.
or if it's all the students. I've heard both. They think that maybe if just the seniors get it, then it'll be something that you can like work your way up to, you know.
Yeah, and that kind of used to be the tradition, right?
yes.
The seniors would stand in front,
Yeah.
and the juniors behind, and you kind of
Yeah.
earned your spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And that idea of bringing Trojan pride back,
yes.
that's kind of why Craig and I started this podcast.
Right.
Yeah, all about investment, right?
Yeah.
Investment from the students, investment from teachers, and
Yep.
it's kind of neat to see other teachers out at games and supporting different places.
Yeah, definitely.
And things, yeah. So what does the mascot entail? I've got a scene on here that I can show the mascot. Okay.
The mascot is like on my bucket list. This is my dream. So back, goodness, when Phil Cunningham was still principal here, I went to him and I said, this is what I want to do. And he said, we don't have the funds. So no. Okay.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So then, well, of course, there were some changes in administration and those types of things. And then we got to the point that it was Mr. McCormick and Mrs. Carfault. And so I went to Mr. Mr. McCormick and said, this is what I want. This is what I'd like to do.
Sure.
And he gave me his thumbs up, and then I went to Mrs. Carfault and she gave me the thumbs up. And then I went, let's see. Oh, I'm trying to think. It's been a couple years back. Then of course, Mr. McCormick left. So I had to start over. Had to go to Mr. Brown. He was okay with
It's the
it.
bad
Then-
part of turnover, isn't
Yep,
it?
then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so that made things kind of backtrack even farther. My goal is to have this amazing mascot, and I would like for kids to try out for it so that there are actually three or four mascot wearers.
Sure.
I would like to name him Troy. And then
Is that after Mr. Beaver?
absolutely.
Okay. good.
And then
He should be the first one to wear it.
he should. That's
That would
true.
be
He's got the
amazing.
legs
He
for it.
Actually, with what we have purchased, it can fit up to just over 6 feet.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Oh, how about that?
That puts us out stock.
We're not in.
Darn it.
We never were.
You're right.
I would like it to be something they try out. And then I know that there are camps that kids can go to that actually
100%.
learn how to be a mascot.
Yeah.
And so get them involved that way. And then I want it to be where the mascot can be, involved with elementary things, and they can go to all of the sporting events, not just varsity football, basketball. I want it to be everybody, all the games,
yeah.
all the things get hit. So any parades that we have, they can do things that way if they're like open houses or whatever, where the public's going to be involved.
The Apple Fest.
Apple Fest, that type
And
of stuff.
that's one of the things I think the Christian school has done really, really good
Yes.
with was Eddie the Eagle.
Yes.
And if we can get that level of hype from
Yes.
Troy,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, I think that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And I want to get something that, like I said, the school is the community and the community is the school. And I want something that both the school and the community can be proud of.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is it's going to be expensive.
Yes. Yes.
And so, I finally got the thumbs up from everybody and contacted several different companies. You actually can buy a uniform for a mascot off of Amazon. Did you know that?
Oh, I'm sure. Is it like a
Yes.
Halloween quality or is it like
Some of
high
them,
level?
yes. Others, I'm pretty sure that those are just scams. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, because when you can get like what I have for my picture for $500,
Yeah.
you're knowing that something wonky is going
We're
on.
expecting the wish.com
Yes.
version of that.
If you get anything at all.
Yeah, he's got like one eye on his
Yes,
chin.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there are some that is just a very large head.
Oh, okay.
And then
Yep,
you
I've
just
seen those.
like wear a normal uniform
Sure.
or whatever, and then the head. The problem is those are scary looking.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that you can purchase online. And I went, I don't know that the kids would be proud of that. So
Just the creepy aspect of it.
yeah, well, I don't know if you remember, there was a certain school who had a mascot that had a head and then just the normal kind of looked like a onesie.
Ooh.
and a horse head.
Ooh.
We'll leave out which school that was. And so,
Let me think. What school could that have been locally?
and I wasn't even saying it was local. Way to go. Thanks for blowing my cover.
Would you have experience with this school at some point? Or your husband?
No, surely not. No.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
And so I told my teacher friends, I said, if we're going to do this, we're not getting a head and pajama onesie. It's going to be
Yeah.
something that we're really proud of. And, that we can use it during home games of basketball and football, and the teachers can get involved. How cool would it be to have a guess the Trojan, mascot night,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you had to figure out who was in the mascot costume? That, and then they have to, and whoever guesses, then
They
gets
can
a
get
prize
a,
or
they can get a
something like
bag
that.
and keychain.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, can you imagine if we put Davis in that thing?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
How awesome would that be?
We talked about her Donald Duck costume
We
today.
did. You don't know this. She made a full Donald Duck costume back in the 80s.
Why does this not surprise me?
And for several years
It's
on,
awesome.
on like Crazy Week, she would wear that thing. I mean, full head, full body, full feet, everything. She made it.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. We
she
actually
said-
asked about it today.
And she said it is the worst thing to put on. It's the worst thing to take off. She's never wearing it again.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
She wasn't too keen on it.
No.
well, that is my goal. Is I want it to be something that the school and the students can have a lot of pride in. And I mean, when you go to baseball games, or if you go to even football games, and the mascot always makes people smile.
Oh, yeah.
And it does get people involved.
Especially
and
little kids.
yes.
Yeah. And there's investment at an early age.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would really like, and there's some anonymity to putting that uniform on.
Yeah.
And you can get into it in a way that you wouldn't be able to do if you just instead bought a costume and put that on. That's, you can't.
Well, see, that's the problem. There's no anonymity. I'd be screaming my name the whole time. It's me. It's me under here. Look, it's me.
So, so that's my goal. Is,
Very cool.
So we just have to get the funds to be able to put it together. So, yeah.
Okay. So are we looking at like a car wash, or are we doing?
We need a couple thousand of those. So
Yeah.
no, I don't know.
Or just one with stock and Speedos?
Yes.
That'll pay for the whole thing. People will pay not to do it.
Can we get Zach to-
Get Zach over there.
Zach.
Avert your eyes. It's $10 not to look.
We'll put it out
That'll
in the
do it.
middle school parking lot.
Exactly. You don't want that.
Yeah. There have been several things that have been thrown around.
Okay.
I know that there has been money that possibly could be taken from the athletic fund that would be able to go toward it. The athletic boosters, there's a possibility of money coming there. But in the long run, when COVID hit and they stopped making money by not, people weren't going to games, so we weren't getting money that way. And then everything has gone up so much in price.
Yeah.
Just trying to get that money back to be able to pay for the things that you're selling at all the different games.
Absolutely.
So it's become an issue of now we're kind of waiting to see what happens. So if there is anyone in the public
Wink,
Wait,
wink.
zoom in. Can you zoom in?
that
Put my fingers up and make a square. I don't know.
that would like to start, can we get a GoFundMe? I don't know how that
Good.
works.
Yeah. GoFundMe, Give, Send, Go, anything like that.
Yeah.
Patreon?
If there's one thing that the community is really good at, it's coming out for the school.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm sure if you start something, it'll be followed. It'll be provided for.
So now I'm going to be shameless here. So
Yes. Can we put Mayor Crane in it one time, and
Wouldn't
maybe
that
that'll raise some money?
that would be awesome.
All right,
So-
I'm going to text him.
Greg Klingon,
Yeah.
he is like,
Put him in that.
Well, you're going to have a Trojan with a cowboy hat.
Well, that's true.
If Greg's on there.
He needs it.
Gotta love
at
Greg.
this point, I'm willing to sacrifice.
Okay.
So Greg Klingon is like the man
Yeah.
when it comes to anything.
Oh, he's on everything, isn't he?
But he knows everything when it comes to like basketball and football,
Yep.
whether it's Fountain County, Covington, Indiana. That man is like a walking encyclopedia.
He's a wealth of knowledge.
He
That's
is
for sure.
And so when it comes to those types of things, he's your go-to source.
Oh, absolutely.
So I keep thinking,
Yeah.
if
Great.
possibly Klingon, auction services would want to get involved in some way, that would be phenomenal. If somehow I could get the information.
If Greg had some granddaughters that were perhaps cheerleaders,
yes,
maybe that would be.
Maybe
that would be.
Yeah. So I keep thinking
We
if I
love you,
could.
Greg.
Absolutely.
We love you.
So, yeah.
Talk about somebody that does a lot for the school. That's great.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
For sure. And so
Huge proponent.
that's someday. And if I have to wear it,
Yeah.
I will do it
Hey, there you go.
because I'm all for it at this point.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And that's the attitude we need, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Do it and be the leader, show other kids that it can be done.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this, but my cousin married into the family of Purdue Pete for the football season. So he was Purdue Pete for several years during the football season. So Jason's his name. I can hook you up if you need to know those camps, if you do get that,
That would
going.
be kind of cool.
Super nice guy, great dude, really easy to talk to, and kids would love him. So he does know all that stuff, and that'd be really cool.
That would be awesome.
Who's this cousin? Why don't I know him?
You know Doug, my cousin Doug.
Oh, Doug. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Jason?
So Megan's brother,
Okay.
Doug's wife Megan,
Yeah.
her brother Jason.
Okay.
He was Purdue Pete for the football season for a couple of years. So
All right.
yeah, great kid.
My dad played the big bass drum while he was there.
At Purdue,
Yep.
the world's largest drum.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
At least that's what I heard 20 years ago.
That was always the highlight of me going to the
I'll
Attica
probably get a
parade.
text saying,
Yeah.
when did I say that?
That
I
was
never said that."
I will say that, well, it used to be called the Potawatomi Parade. I think it's a
Yes.
Heritage Parade now or
Yes.
something like that. That was one of the highlights when we were younger.
remember that.
They would let kids go up and hit
Yeah.
the big drum
Yeah.
during the parade, and that was awesome. Just a cool experience. So any time you can get investment like that from the community, that looks really good for Purdue in that situation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if we get something like that going, that looks really good for us and garners a lot of community attention, positive community attention.
Absolutely.
That's what we're looking for. So that leads us into the speed round. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we hit the speed round and wind down?
Virtual learning tomorrow and Wednesday. Everyone show
Yes,
up.
show up. I think I'm going to have a lot of investment, so I'm excited for that.
Well, I did tell my students that I am not usually a proponent of peer pressure, but if they felt
But-
the need to peer pressure their friends into going to their virtual classes tomorrow,
Yes.
I said I might turn the other way.
Yeah.
So,
And honestly, it's not bad. It's not bad for kids. It's more, I think, a lot of more work for us, right?
I
Setting up
agree.
these virtual
Yeah.
classes.
Yeah.
But for you guys, it's 20-minute classes, 3-minute passing periods. A lot of teachers are going to assign you an assignment that's not bad, and we'll be able to
Right.
talk about it, throw your stuff in
You're
the
done
chat,
by 11 o'clock.
and you're
Yeah.
done by 11 o'clock. Yeah, that's huge. We're not.
No, we have to stay till 3.
Yeah, but the kids are done by 11 o'clock, and you're here for 3 hours, and then you're done for the day. So just kind of bite the bullet and do it. I think that's my best advice to everybody right now. We are to the speed round. So Mrs. Smaltz, you kind of touched on how did you get to CHS, but would you like to fill us on any of the details you might have overlooked? You were at Benton Central.
I was at
Shout out to
Benton
Dusty Hughes.
Hey, Dusty.
Yes.
We love you.
we lived south of Petersburg, and my husband was teaching at the school that shall not be named.
Ooh.
Fountain Central. And so I was singing in Forgiven at that point, my singing
Yeah.
group, and driving back and forth to Covington. This is where we had our church. And so decided that it would make sense. All of our friends were here, and we knew Covington School Corporation was a good school corporation. And so we just decided to move into town. It would make things a lot easier for us, our family, and we've never regretted it. And so then
Excellent.
Have you always been at that house?
we have,
Okay.
we have, and it was previously owned by Mike and Patsy Latos. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know.
I don't know.
And it's interesting. It's
They live
Tanner.
closer to the school now on the other side.
Yes.
Yep.
Tanner and Carson Schaefer's grandparents.
Okay.
And so it's interesting because he did taxidermy.
Yeah.
So down in our basement that I call our dungeon basement, it was actually, the basement was built after the house. So the walls are like this. You go,
Oh, yeah.
And of course we have all those stupid camelback crickets down there as well.
Yeah, sprickets, as we like to
Yes.
call them.
Those things are nasty.
Yes, they
Yes.
are.
But on the wall, he has where his like knives and all the different things were. And he has like them outlined. There's
Oh,
a
yeah,
nail and then an outline of what was supposed to go there. So we bone saw, hacksaw, head saw, all these different. I'm like, what on earth is this? Then I found out that he did text it.
So, well, you thought it was a Criminal Minds episode for a
I was beginning
second?
to wonder.
Yeah.
So that was a little interesting. But
No,
yeah.
super nice guy.
Yeah, very
he's great,
excellent
great dude.
man. Yes, and we've never regretted it.
Yeah,
so
yeah, he's been great
yeah.
to us. So
Yep.
nice guy. So that's how you got here. And you can see Stock made a poster. For
I
these
love
questions.
it.
This is great.
Yes.
What does Trojan Pride mean to you? This is probably especially poignant since you are the crazy
Yeah.
director, or what were we calling it? We're a sponsor, crazy sponsor.
Yes,
Okay.
make it
Crazy
official.
sponsor.
Yes. Do you know though? I would like to add something to it though. I think something that one of the things I've always been very proud of, Covington, has been the integrity that this school has when
Oh.
it comes to behavior and whether in the classroom or in public or in sporting functions and those kinds of things. And I want to make sure that that stays at the forefront of the way
Absolutely.
Trojans are seen. I know, I've never ever had to worry about taking a class someplace and worry about how they're going to act and if it was appropriate and those types of things. And I want to make sure that when they hear Covington Trojans, they'll know that they can expect someone who has a lot of integrity.
I like
a
that.
class act.
Add that to our big
And
definition, Stock.
So, yeah.
Well, unless it's a tornado drill.
Oh, oh yes. Well, we won't
Oh,
bring
boy.
that up. You're gonna make me blush. It was not me. I didn't do it. I might have gotten upset with my students, but
Now, don't we all at some
they
point?
were not acting in a way that showed integrity.
No, they were not.
So
But that's a teachable moment,
it
Very
was.
as Mr. Boo would say.
It was.
Very teachable.
That is a teachable moment. All right. So, what song describes you? Is our next question. That's provided by Emmy Bunch, who's doing the Senior Spotlight videos.
Oh my goodness. I bet if you asked my children, they'd say "Crazy Train," but
All aboard.
works really well when you're the crazy sponsor.
Hey,
so
there you go.
I
With
don't
an IE,
know.
not a Y.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have that.
It's a hard question.
It is.
It's a very tough
It
question.
is.
I think
So-
it changes from year to year, month to
agree.
month, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, what Mr. Anderson just went with one of his favorite songs.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite song? Do you have one currently?
I'm really into Chris Stapleton right now.
Oh, well, I mean, Chris Stapleton's amazing.
Is that country?
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
yes, it's like actual country.
Ooh.
No,
No,
I think
no,
you'd like it. I really do.
I'm not a country kind of gal, but this is more of a funky rock.
It's kind of
country.
bluesy.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
He
He's
grew up
really
on a
good.
farm.
So it doesn't mean I know how to drive a tractor. Trust
She
me.
grew up on a farm listening to Ozzy, though.
So
It's a little bit different song.
let's put it this way. Apparently, those tractors cost too much money for my dad to put me in one to drive it.
Fair.
So, I like Chris Stapleton,
Yeah.
like all of his stuff. But there is a gentleman who does covers of Chris Stapleton, and his name is Teddy Swims.
Teddy Swim. Is that with an S or a Z?
S.
Okay.
So if you took, gosh, it would be like Chris Stapleton and Post Malone, and
Oh, my.
they had a baby. That's what he would look like. So he's very burly in the sense that he's kind of bigger, but he's got all the tattoos and everything that
Okay.
Post Malone has, and he does a cover of Tennessee Whiskey
Okay.
that Chris Stapleton, which I think was actually.
I'm actually a really big fan of the Justin Timberlake, Chris Stapleton live performance from the CMA Awards.
I've not heard that.
If you've not heard that, oh my gosh, it will change your
I
life.
will look it up.
Yes, it's
So-
amazing.
But yeah,
So good.
I like Teddy Swims, and he does all sorts of things. In fact, he went on tour right after COVID, and I was so excited, and he sold out like
Oh, I'm sure.
just like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing on the bucket
Well,
list.
an adjacent question to the song's question. Then you mentioned that you sang with Forgiven.
I did
So how long were you with Forgiven?
10 years.
10 years. So
Yeah.
what was your favorite song to sing with Forgiven?
Oh my goodness gracious. Love is Like a River. I like that
Okay.
one. And I also liked the goodness. I don't know. I'm not very good at remembering. Like I can.
My grandpa's favorite song was Peace in the Valley. So
Okay.
that's a banger. OG.
We did a lot of twangy stuff.
Oh yeah, you did.
So-
So like, what was it? Winona and Naomi Judd. Did you do any
That's-
Judds?
Well, but it'd be the Christian version of it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
anything
That type of music.
that was what we did. Bluegrass kind of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is Forgiven still a group, or did you
It
just
is
step away from
not.
it?
Well, no, I take that. Yes, it is. The two of them are still singing. I don't know that they're singing very much. They are in a much different season of life than I am because, I've still got kids and running around
Right,
that kind of stuff
right.
where they've got grandkids and they're off doing those things. And so when I guess you could say I retired, Sarah still had 2 years of school left when I retired.
Yeah.
And I had told the girls, I said, I would like to just enjoy being with my family instead of having to worry about, because there were times we sang in Springfield, Illinois. We sang at the convention center in Ohio, and
I saw you guys perform a couple times. Actually. Yeah.
we were all over the place, and it was a lot of fun, and it was a great ministry. But it took a lot of time away from my family.
Yeah.
And so
Sometimes it just comes to a time.
yeah,
You need to
it
get
was
out.
it was
Yep.
at that point. So
I get that.
yep.
Yeah. So the hardest question we have to offer: sock, sock, shoe, shoe, or sock, shoe, sock, shoe. Stock threw a wrinkle in to when he put his pants on.
Sock, sock, pants, shoe, shoe.
Yeah, that's a thing. And then we also had a suggestion in the comments section a couple weeks ago that you can throw when you tie them into it, if you choose. That'll be an optional.
Sock, sock, pants, shoe, shoe, tie, tie.
You put your socks on before your pants?
You don't want your toes to get caught in the
Oh,
hem.
you didn't hear this drama? Go ahead, Stock.
You don't want your toes to get caught in the hem, Susan. Otherwise, it rips out the hem, and then you have to go sewn in.
I love that. This is the most you get worked up
Okay,
about anything.
I'm sorry.
It's the sock and the hem.
Mr.
I
Stockberger,
love that so much.
if your toes are getting
my
caught in the
goodness.
hems of your jeans, I can buy you a nice set of like toenail clippers,
I have
and
toenail
you
clippers.
will not have that problem.
Men's slacks have a different hem than women's slacks.
Oh, I agree.
And your
Is that
toes
true?
get stuck in them.
Is
Your
that
toes
true?
get Craig. Well, you're wearing those cargo pants.
Yes, always. This is how we survive
I'm
in the
telling
woods
you,
with my people.
No, Jeremy Rutowski, he'll back me up.
Okay. Oh,
He's
yeah.
sock, sock, shoe, shoe.
Yeah, I did see that he commented.
Yeah.
See, now I'm going to have to ask my husband and my son. I guess I get dressed and then I put on my socks and my shoes. So
Same, like a normal person.
I will say I put, excuse me,
Unless I'm out in the woods living with my people. Apparently, Stock.
My heart test came back abnormal.
Oh, there it is. We're both abnormal.
We're fine.
I'm cryptozoographic and you're just abnormal.
I put the whole sock, sock, shoe, shoe thing on my board at school.
Yeah.
After seeing your first episode.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. And I love my students. I tell you what, sometimes they say things and you don't want to laugh because it's not professional, but yet
Oh, but you
you
have
can't help but laugh
You have to.
because,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
And Kean Moore, God bless him, he looked at it and he goes, sock, sock, shoe, shoe, sock, sock. And Ben Christoph goes, yeah, you put your socks on, then you put your shoes on. He goes, what other way is there to do it? And Ben goes, well, you could do sock, shoe, sock, shoe. And he goes, what are you, an animal? It's just,
I like that we have such strong opinions
it was
on footwear.
and then the whole class, like the whole class of it was just immediate. They all just went off, and it was
I
like,
love it.
what do you mean? There's people that put sock then shoe, and I can't help but think though it's because they're putting their socks on, then their pants, then their shoe. So if you're doing,
Perhaps.
I think that's
Well,
why the majority of us
I'll give
are
you
so
why I do it the way I do
vehement.
it. So I put my shoes and socks on in a love seat, and I'm so unlimber now. I don't know what you call it, inflexible, that I pull my leg up to put my sock and shoe on
Okay.
at the same
So
time.
it's a convenience thing for
I don't want to bend down more than once
Yeah.
to tie them. So
Well,
I'll
see-
put sock, then shoe, then I'll pull the other leg up, sock, then shoe, and then I'll bend over and tie them.
Well, no, see, I have this little short cat
Yeah.
hutch
Yeah.
thing, and it's just kind of like a big tube with some carpet on it. Sock, sock, pants, shoe, shoe, stand up, put on that little cat thing, tie my shoe, other foot, tie my shoe. And then it's right sock, left sock, pants, right leg, left leg, right shoe, left shoe. But then to tie it, it's left shoe, right shoe.
Stock, the thing I love about this podcast is that we've dedicated like 30 minutes to your dressing routine in the morning.
We haven't even gotten to shirts, people.
Oh Lord, we're not gonna make it that far. So maybe my sock shoe question is because, you know, a Sasquatch has just recently got footwear. Shout out to Stock's mom. Gotta love it.
Oh, that's
All
great.
right. So, what would you like your legacy to be here at CHS? So you've done 11 years of teaching here at Covington High School. What do you want to be known for? When you finally put in your 53 years, like Miss Davis, and
53 years.
and don't say it like that.
He's 54 right now.
54. You put in your 54 years, and you're ready to hang it up. And what do you want your legacy to be?
I can answer that for you.
For me?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know if I want you to.
Oh man.
Okay, sure.
I'll give you a second to think about your answer while Stock answers for you.
Okay.
What do you got?
You recently had someone compliment you by saying they were asked, who do you see Jesus in? And that person thought of you.
Oh, that's a big compliment. Yeah.
It was actually a parent
Oh, wow.
that is going back to school to become a special ed teacher, and she had to write a paper, and it was pick someone that is an educator, or I don't even know that it was an educator. Just pick someone that you feel like you see Jesus in. And she forwarded a copy of it to me, and I got it after a particularly rough day at school. And of course, then I got it and I'm like blubbering, you know,
No, surely.
like ugly crying,
Right.
you know. And so that was a heck of a compliment.
That's huge.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. So
Very cool.
Do you guys remember Brandon Simmons?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
B-Dog swag.
B-Dog swag.
That's right.
Yep. In fact, do you know that I still have a piece of my window frame?
Oh, yeah.
So those turds, they would lean
That was a funny
Oh
group.
my gosh. They would lean outside my window because we had windows back then.
Yeah.
And they leaned outside my window, and he wrote B-Dog swag and put the date. And
Yep.
so when they came through and did all of the construction last year, I left them a post-it note, and said, if you would please leave me this portion of the window pane, I'd really like to have it.
Pulled that teacher move
And
of, please keep.
Yes, I did. And they did. They cut it out
That's
for
huge.
me.
That's
and so
awesome.
I have that in my classroom now. And Brandon had a rough year, senior year. And he and I tell you what, it was constant. I kept trying to get him refocused back into what it was that he needed to be doing in order to be able to graduate. And I had always prior tried to remind my students that the reason I do what I do is because they matter to me.
Sure.
You know, as people, they matter. They have a purpose. And that year was just a cruddy year and kind of fell away from it. And so, of course, then Brandon passed. And I remember sitting at that funeral and seeing just the multitudes of people that had been touched by Brandon and his short life of 18 years.
In the varsity gym. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was. And students and teachers and community members, I mean, it was packed. And it hit me like just a ton of bricks that I don't know that I ever told him the reason that I was on him so hard was because he mattered to me.
Yeah.
And I felt so guilty because I hadn't verbalized those words to him. And I knew I never would. I didn't have that opportunity. And so my goal is that every kid that comes through my room knows that I'm not going to take the time that I have with them for granted, and that they do matter to me. And I got an email, been a while back, from Chandler Spring.
Same class.
Yes, same class. And he had recently graduated from college, getting ready to be a teacher. He is a teacher now, a teacher and a coach. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And so he said, I was asked in one of my education classes, look back at your high school experience and think about the people who made you feel like you mattered. And and he was letting me know that Mr. Cheesum, of course, because that was his coach,
Yep.
and Miss Davis,
Yep.
and then me.
That's awesome.
And I thought, if anything, I can make a kid walk through my classroom and that they walk out and know that they matter to someone, then the English is secondary.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
At that point.
That's
yeah.
my goal.
Yeah. Now, what a fun kid Brandon was. Yeah. He was a blast.
He was.
He's got a shake named after him now.
That's right.
He does have a shake named
He
after
does.
him. I do remember. So it was right after school that year.
It was June
Yeah.
12th.
that he
It was my
passed.
husband's
I
birthday.
remember that that was the year that they wanted to camp out in the teacher parking lot, and they needed a chaperone. And as Stock said last week, when you need something done, you'll find a teacher to
That's
do
right.
it, right?
That's right.
So Mr.
Did I
Wilkins
say
asked
that?
me.
Did I say that? I don't remember.
Yes, you did. You also didn't remember you wore a flannel that entire day.
No, I didn't.
Thanks, Mom. But they had a camp out in the parking lot, and they needed a chaperone, so I was their chaperone. And
Wow.
yeah, the night of fellowship they had, it was hilarious. It was awesome. That was a great class. That
Yeah,
was a
it
fun
was.
class.
That was a very fun
Jordan
class.
and Chandler and all those guys.
Adam Randall's was
Yep,
in that class.
yep. It was
and
a
Zeb.
blast.
Yep. Oh my
And just
gosh.
sitting around, hanging out with the guys, listening to their stories. And then I think Jordan took Brandon home. I said goodbye, and that was the last time I saw him. So.
Yep.
But got to hang out with him that whole night, and it was a fun time. It was a blast.
Yep.
So it's times like that that really make it worthwhile. So
Yeah.
okay, getting ready to close down then. Stock, did you have anything you wanted to say before we sign out?
Get on. Oh,
He
wow.
pulled a was it Peter Brady or Greg Brady? It was Peter Brady.
Peter. Yeah.
No, I think my voice is just cracking. Had to happen sometime.
He's a man now.
I'm a Sasquatch.
Well, let's not go that far. Hey, you do rock a beard sometimes though, and it looks really good.
Twice in my life.
It looks good, really
Twice
good. You
in
need-
my life.
Mr. Field rocked a beard. So if you've never seen that
No.
picture,
Yeah.
Mr. Field with
Yeah.
a camel in the picture with a beard, it's
my
the best
goodness.
picture I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Go ahead, Stocky.
Okay. The virtual learning tomorrow. Kids, hop on. It's just 3 hours. You're done at 11.
Yep. 2 days of that, and you're on fall break for 2 days.
Yep.
See you at the senior night for football. Mrs. Smaltz, is there anything you wanted to say as we sign out? Support the push for a mascot.
Yes,
Yes.
please. Absolutely. In fact, I probably will have a call out here for CrAzIeS. Hopefully the football season will continue on, but when it does come to an end, then we'll start getting things around, and I'll probably do a call out for seniors first. I'd like to have a couple seniors that will be my leaders.
Some senior leaders. Yeah,
And
that's
so
huge.
that way that sometimes it's better that way they can disseminate information
Mm-hmm.
out that way. And then maybe we can sit down, the senior leaders and I and the cheerleaders, and we can nail down the dress up days in advance. And then that way,
Oh, that'd be nice.
yeah. So I would like to be able to post it somewhere, whether it's online or, the Facebook or whatever. So, because I think kids need an opportunity to be able to plan for that.
Especially the intricate ones.
Yes,
Or stuff you wouldn't have.
Yeah. So
You said you heard our first episode,
I did.
so you heard my first rant.
I probably did.
Oh, no,
Doesn't
no,
mean-
no,
No, it was the second episode.
Second
What's that?
episode.
It was
Did you
about
see
the dress up
second?
days.
No more pajama day.
She actually has a really good one she pitched to me the other day.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I don't want to ruin it,
Okay.
but Stock, you'll
Yeah.
enjoy
I'll
it.
trust you.
You'll
I'll
enjoy it.
I actually, okay. So I have some that I really, how cool would it be? So, Kentucky Derby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we dress up like they do for the Kentucky
Mint julep
Derby,
and hats.
not the mint julep part.
Well, they make non-alcoholic.
You think they would let us walk in with that? I'm just
I mean,
saying.
downstairs maybe. There's no carpet.
But if the gentleman could come in and dress pants and a
Suit and
jacket
tie.
and the
That'd be
girls,
hilarious.
and we play Fountain Central.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, that's perfect.
That is
Wouldn't
perfect.
that be fun?
That's
and so I
perfect.
don't know. I would like to gear it towards whatever school that we're doing.
So our
And-
yearbook is antique this year is going to be our theme.
Oh, that's
so like
nice.
vintage antique.
Yeah.
And I believe the prom is like a Great Gatsby theme.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So if that's true, you could kind of gear
Yeah.
all that stuff
the
into
whole
like
year.
one theme.
That's
Yeah, that'd
true.
be awesome.
I like
So-
that.
So look forward to that. But that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
think
I'd
it's
like
fun.
to send out maybe a Google form, because there's probably things out there that the kids have thought of and
Oh, yeah.
just have never voiced anything, and maybe get some of the
Yeah,
information
one of the
back.
middle
And-
school's alternate dress-up days was Adam Sandler Day. So how much fun would that be in the high school?
Oh my goodness!
That'd be a
They
blast.
don't even know Adam Sandler.
Well, they don't know the good ones. They know the modern stuff, right?
That's funny.
I mean, Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill. Oh my
mean,
gosh! As long as it's not Little Nicky,
fine.
is what you said, right?
Yes.
So yeah, some cool stuff
Yeah,
that could be happening.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome. Do you know if we're bringing back Digs and Dudes? I don't know if you're part of that, but
I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't heard anything one way or the other. We'll figure it out.
I hope they do.
That just
I hope they do
reminded
too.
me-
That was a blast.
That reminded me of what my rant was.
Oh,
Well, I can go back to the rant section if you want to hit it before we leave.
Okay. Do we have time?
oh,
we really
we've got all the time in the
We've
world.
got all the time in the world.
Okay.
It's e-learning, right? We're e-learning
So-
right now.
I would like there to be some changes to homecoming and our activities.
Okay, let's hit it.
So I think that I know that tradition is a big thing at Covington, and I'm all for tradition when it still stands to have a purpose. But I can't help but think that maybe we've gone past some of the functionality of what we do during homecoming.
What we do and
So-
why we do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like building a float.
Yep.
It's wasteful. And it takes a lot of time and a
Yeah.
lot of work, and you tear it down and throw it all away.
Yeah.
And so I noticed a lot of them didn't use tissue paper this year, which I'm kind of okay with because again, you just build it and then you toss it. And I can't help but think that there could be something better come out of it where I don't know if we would build something for the community and it gets then raffled off or
Stock, you had a
something
thought on this.
Did I?
Yeah. You talked about, was it Shropshire?
Shropshire, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Leanne Shropshire. We love you. She's a Fountain Central now. Did you know that?
Is she?
Yeah, she started this year.
Well, let's preface that.
No.
We love you, but we love you a little less now that you're at
Yes,
Fountain Central.
No, I
yes.
did not.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's back in the classroom.
Good deal.
She had an idea when she was the student council
Sponsor, yeah.
sponsor. She saw some schools building, well, not building, but decorating little playhouses, and then they raffled
Yes.
those off.
Yes. And I can't help but think that would be something that is, I don't know, it definitely is less wasteful. And
What if those proceeds went to a mascot uniform?
well, then I'd be all over it. And I think as much as it's fun to do the football or the powder puff, it can get dangerous. And what was it? One year, Dalen Hardy, I think she broke her ankle
Yeah.
or leg
Yeah.
or something.
Yep.
And it kind of limits it as far as who all can get involved. I think I would like it to be where it was more of like a class Olympics where everybody could be involved in some way, but then it's activities like a friend of mine is a youth sponsor at a church. So they do a certain kind of Olympics. And now this one's kind of gross, but like you put mayonnaise on your face and then the other person who is your partner, they throw pieces of bologna at your face. And then whoever can get the most bologna stick to your face, then you win. That would be one. Another one was,
Oh my, that's how my mom used to get the dog to kiss me. She just put peanut butter all over my face, and I was such an ugly kid, the dog wouldn't kiss me any other way.
okay.
So
But it worked.
All right.
It worked. Good old Carol.
Put like Jello and Legos, put Legos in the Jello, and then you have to go get the Legos out, but you can only use your toes. And like whoever gets the most at a certain point and things like that, things that a youth sponsor at a church would come up with.
Right.
Something that would require food and getting in gross situations, but yet really it wouldn't matter. You don't have to be too much of an athlete,
Right.
To get involved. And it could be that your grade has 3 teams and those teams could have 5 people each, and maybe it would involve more kids. And so then that way they could, I don't know, just to get more kids involved. And so
there was an idea a couple years ago. I'll switch to me for this. Sasquatch is back. There was an idea a couple years ago. Have you ever seen the movie Heavyweights? A Disney classic.
gosh, a long time ago.
Heavyweights. So at the end of the movie, they have like this decathlon to where you do like a physical activity, and then there's like a scholarly part to it where you have to
Yeah.
solve problems and answer trivia questions and that kind of stuff. And then you pass it on to another teammate who's good at another thing, and so on and so forth. It ended up with like a go-kart race. But it was a decathlon, and different kids could show different talents that they have.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's like a musical component or an art component to that you could do or whatever.
Right.
But I thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, something that's been passed around before that we could talk about in the future.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's my rant.
All right. There's the rant.
Okay.
Let's see if we can move it back down.
And I apologize for not doing it in a timely fashion when I was supposed to, but I really had forgotten it.
Hey, sometimes you just forget your rant.
You do.
It's okay.
You do.
It's okay.
I understand, Susan.
Stock gets it. He gets it. All right. So that brings us to the end of the episode. We're going to close her down. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following along. Thank you for commenting. We do have keychains on the way. A limited batch. If they go well, we'll order more. But kind of be looking for that. Fall break this week. Basically Thursday is your fall break because Friday there's a football game and it's senior night. Kiss Country's going to be there. So if you can't make it out to the football game, be sure you're listening to the radio or checking out their Facebook page. Get involved. That's all I have to say.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Get involved in something. Get involved in as many things as you can. Like Anna, if you've seen everything she does during Friday nights, it's insane, but she loves it. So get involved in something that you enjoy and kind of ride that out. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.